Renez. Welcome to my channel. So today I'll be discussing some tips and hacks on booking affordable flights, which is my favorite thing. So something I love to talk about. Everybody knows that I love to travel. This video is just to encourage everyone that just take a trip once or twice a year. You're not gonna regret it. You may regret purchasing, some fancy shoes or clothes, whatever, no judgment, but traveling is so important for you to get out there and just see the world, connect with different people, different cultures. You will never regret booking that trip. So this video is to help encourage you to get it done, man. Let's do it. I don't want to see anybody underneath my comments, oh, next time, oh, I want to go. No, this video is to encourage you to just do it, okay? Just do it. Number one, be flexible with your dates. Even though you're only traveling for a weekend, maybe you want to request a day off on the Friday or the Monday, so you could play around with the days and times where you could get cheaper flights. For example, since most people travel on Friday evenings, the flight will be more expensive. So you want to fly out that Friday morning. Or if you want to return on Monday morning, sometimes it's cheaper because most people try to get home on Sunday night so they could start off their week bright and early on Monday. So you definitely want to be flexible with your dates. Number two, which is my favorite, and it actually works, is to look into booking one-way tickets. It works. I know back in the days it was more expensive when you look up the one-way ticket versus booking a round trip ticket, but right now, honey, it works. So especially if you live in a big city like me right now, I live in New York, or maybe you in South Florida, wherever. If you're in a big city and there's multiple airports, you can look one-way tickets from various different airports and see what works for you and compare it. If it's a $200, $300, $400 difference, obviously you might want to go with that versus being said, well, this airport is 5 minutes away from me, I want to leave out of this airport. You have to compare the price and just see what works for you. So definitely look into the one-way ticket, booking the one-way ticket. Next tip I want to mention is booking overnight flights or early morning flights. I know it's not for everybody, and if you know me, you know I'm all about getting up crack of dawn before the Lord, getting up before the chickens in the morning, and I am at the airport. Again, you want to pick times that it's not common. Most people would rather have a full night's rest and get up, midday and go to the airport. No, I like to be there early as possible. Or with the overnight flights, my thought process with that is I could sleep on the flight. I could sleep anywhere, but I definitely sleep on flights. So if I book an overnight flight, number one, that's one night. I don't have to pay at a hotel. And two, I get there first thing, maybe if I get there 6, 7 o'clock, I get there first thing in the morning and I get to my exploring and getting things done, seeing things, eating, all that stuff. So overnight flights or early morning flights, that's my next tip. Yes. Say yes to layovers. Let me tell you, well, again, it depends on how long you want to travel. Say yes to layovers. For one, not only that the flight may be cheaper, but two, you get to explore sometimes a whole new country, a whole new city. I had a layover 23 hours in Rome, Italy, and I had a walk-in map and I had it printed out. Well, I had it on my phone, and I saw the whole city in that one day because I arrived early in the morning. So I had the whole day to explore. So I actually said I've been to Rome versus if I think I was coming from Spain, versus if I was gonna just take a direct flight home. My trip was going to Spain, and I think I was more excited about my layover than my actual trip. Sorry, babe. You know. So yes, layover flights, definitely be okay. Say yes to layover flight. Next tip is avoid luggage fees. That's obviously, I don't know anybody who wants to pay extra for luggage. I sure don't. But the way of doing so is you don't need to bring 10 pairs of shoes for every outfit you're going on a 3-day weekend. I mean, you can, but you're not gonna wear all this stuff. I mean, I know it's good to have options, but do you really need to bring a whole bunch of stuff? 99% of the time, most of the stuff that we bring on vacation, we don't wear. But hey, if you want to have options, it's up to you. But airlines such as Spirit Airlines, of course, you pay for the luggage. So compare if you're going on a longer trip, you compare even if the flights are cheaper, but you have to pay for luggage, then you compare that Spirit Airlines ticket compared to different airlines that includes maybe a carry-on or a checked-in bag. So you want to definitely compare the two. But if you want to book that cheap flight on Spirit, and you gotta do what you gotta do to avoid all the extra fees. This is not a specific tip for booking a cheaper flight. However, I would like to make the comment that a suggestion that if you have friends or family that lives in another city or another country, I would definitely suggest that you take advantage of that opportunity and visit them, because in that way you could book the flight, but hopefully they invite you to stay with them. You will have a place to stay. So in that way you can splurge a little bit more on the flights, because you don't have to worry about paying for hotels. So definitely that's a tip, because I lived overseas for 3 years and I had a handful of people who visited me. So take advantage while they're there. As soon as they leave and they settle down, you book that trip, you book that flight to visit them. No excuses. So when you're searching for your tickets, make sure you put your browser in incognito or private browsing mode, because what happens is the system may increase the prices, so you could freak out like, oh my god, the prices went up, I need to book my ticket, and you lose out on a good deal. So definitely do that. That's definitely a tip, an important tip when it comes to searching and booking your flight. And this is a really good one, but disclaimer, it worked for me. I've done it twice. The first time it worked perfectly, and then the second time, yeah, it was a disaster, but it still worked. But I had to, we're not gonna talk about that. Anyways, so let's go back to the booking the one-way ticket. And this hack only works when you're booking a return flight. For example, I'll just give you an example because that's what I did. I was booking a flight from when I was in Dominica a couple of years ago. I was booking a flight back to Atlanta, Georgia. So I had to go through Barbados. So from the ticket from Barbados to Atlanta was, let's say, maybe it was like $500 one way. So what I did was I searched for a one-way ticket going to a different city, but had a layover in Atlanta. So I think I got a ticket that was going to Tampa and had a layover in Atlanta, and the ticket was about like $150, something around that ballpark. So that was like a definitely score. But however, this only works also if you do not have a checked-in luggage. Okay, so if you do not have a check-in luggage and you just have a carry-on, you get off your layover in whatever city. When you're home, you get off the layover and you go home. However, if you have a check-in bag, which I did the second time coming from Honduras to Atlanta again, yeah, my luggage almost ended up in Miami, and I was in Atlanta just for the weekend for a wedding. So yeah, it was a disaster the second time, but hey, it still worked. I worked it out. I got my luggage back, but It works, but definitely do it at your own risk. Okay, at your own risk. But this is a very good point. Definitely set a budget. Should have been my first point, but set a budget. And if you're not sure where you could go with the budget that you have, there are websites like Google Flights and Skyscanner. They give you options. Once you set your budget, you put in your city, and then they'll give you options of places to go based on your budget. And I'll also give you an example. Okay, this is the Skyscanner website. And first thing you're gonna do is select your city, and for me it was New York. And you're gonna, if you're not sure where you wanna go, then you click can't decide where, and select your dates, which are very important. Like I said, you could be flexible with the dates, but pick the dates that you would like to travel. And once you click on search, you will get an option. You get a list of places, countries, and cities that you could travel. Usually if you're in the US will be the cheapest flights that you could find. And you get the option to pick different, you see the different cities. And you could see here there's different countries that you can visit and with the price point. So this is definitely a great tool to use when you're trying to book an affordable flight. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions or any comments, if anything you want to add, please just send me a message, comment below the video. Or if you just need help with just booking your travel when it comes to flights, hotels, excursions, just let me know. I'll be willing to help at any time. Okay? Thank you.